DIY or Die, Walker Vapor Group LLC, or any of its associates do not condone nor encourage the use of nicotine, vapor products, or any mood-altering substances without the explicit consent of a physician. The content viewable on this channel is strictly for entertainment purposes only and not meant to be seen as informational or educational. Must be 21 years or older to view these materials.
Silky Beat. What is up, mixers? Welcome back to another episode of the MIXINVIXENS. Today we're going to be doing some peer critiques with the boys. My name is Emily, also known as Millen Icon. And first of all, let's say hello to our other Vixens. We've got the lovely Rin Vapes.
Hello, happy Easter.
Hello, Rin. We've got Jen, the E-Juice Fairy.
How's everybody doing? Happy Easter.
Hi, and last but not least, the lovely Lumi.
Hi.
Hi, Lumi. And then for the boys, say hello to Rick, also known as Concrete River.
Yo.
Hello.
Hey.
We've got Folk Art.
Hello. I was going to wear my bunny suit today, but it's in the washer.
You coward. You absolute fucking coward. You had a bunny suit and you didn't wear it.
I would be all over that.
And last but not least, our guest judge is we have Addy, the godfather of mixing. Hi, Addy.
Hey, guys, what's happening? I brought my cotton. I got cotton. I don't have a rabbit, but I have cotton.
I'm so glad you're here. How's
Happy Easter.
Doing today?
Thanks for having me.
I'd just like to be able to share a screen with Addy the God Tooney.
we didn't think you would come on with us. We thought you were, a little bit, you would be afraid of us.
Oh my God, I'm not scared. I ain't scared.
Verbal abuse comes after this show. After we say, "Oh, I liked your recipe, but you can change this," like they just fucking rip into us. It's honestly brutal. I'm just here because I've got like a masochism thing going on. It's a deep.
Well, I forgot to say right after the show, I gotta leave.
Hey, he's got that thing.
And that's awesome. Happy Easter, and I'm glad that it was really nice that Rin's family had a dinner together tonight. So that was good. I know it's rough out there, but hang in there, guys.
Yeah, I did. I was that parent that bought. My daughter is 18, and we're done with toys a long time ago. But you know what? This Easter, she can't be hanging out with friends. We didn't go to church service, none of that stuff. So I did what I used to do to her when she was younger. I bought her a kite, a big ass bottle of bubbles, and a frisbee. And I said, "Here you go. Play yourself, and you and I can play frisbee."
Oh, I would pay money to see that.
That's cool.
So she can fly the kite outside. It's really windy out, so it's a perfect day for kite flying.
So if she pisses you off, you're just like, go fly a kite.
Well, I wish I could say it that nicely.
Your dog probably goes crazy over a frisbee too, right?
Yeah, and she's got plenty of tennis balls and stuff like that. So that's what she's been spending her entire time doing. Going to the dog park the other day. Kids do the Snapchat thing, and they've accepted me as Snapchat friends. And it was just such a sad picture. She had the dog in the dog park, and Bella, you could see Bella was walking around, and she posted on Snapchat. She said, "Will somebody please bring their dog out to the park? I promise I will stay 6 feet away from you and will not even talk to you. My dog is lonely." Aww. I was like, So what's up? Are we going to get into the weeds? We all love that silence thing,
Yeah, just some awkward silence. I was just thinking I'm not doing anything for Easter, and honestly, I'm pretty okay with that at this point. But, happy Easter to everybody who still gives a damn. That's great.
Yeah, it's basically like another day here for me.
Yeah, we normally have like a big dinner and things with our family and stuff, but that didn't happen this year. But
Yeah,
we'll do it. We'll do it maybe in the fall. Hopefully this shit don't come back.
Yeah, and over here, what we do is on Saturday night, all our friends come over and we'll sit around, build our last, because this would be the last bonfire kind of evening before it starts getting warm. Build our last bonfire, and now we have a bunch of freaking wood to burn back there, and it hasn't been burnt yet, so we'll have to do it later. And then today, everybody would get together in somebody's house, and we'd have dinner, but neither one of those things happened.
Yeah, we're kind of bummed because Easter's always our holiday. Everybody comes to our house on Easter. We usually have 12, 14 people, and so we're kind of bummed.
I'm just stress eating my weight in some of the jelly beans I got sent in a care package. So
it's kind of funny that we're all really socially distancing, even from family, as we're supposed to, even though we technically could be rebelling. You know what I mean? And everybody's still like, no, let's just keep everybody safe.
Well, everybody wants to keep their parents safe,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really surprised how everybody is being so compliant with all this. I was expecting more pushback.
Oh, there's a lot of pushback there's a group on Facebook, and you're here from North Carolina, which is North Carolina against all these restrictions. And somebody plopped me in that group, and one of the questions was, do you think that the restrictions should be lifted on the 15th of April or the 1st of May? And I was like, not sure yet, dude. And you had to ask that question to join the group, and I was like, not sure. I'm here for the party. That was my answer. I'm not freaking committing to wanting, and all these people want it lifted now.
Yeah. North Carolinians, they like their conspiracies and stuff.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
I know.
Well, there still seems to be like a lot of people out on the roads and stuff here, and I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like, and every time I go to the store, it seems to be pretty busy. It's like,
my sister made me this mask, which who was it? Asked me if it looked like my underwear.
Addie.
Like underwear on your face.
My mask.
We've been kind of lucky just in that we already live out in the middle of nowhere, away from most of the family, so it really hasn't changed too much of our routine. I'm happy it's getting a little warmer though, because we've been the ones going actually outside to strange places to collect bugs and stuff like that. And that's been nice and quiet. You don't usually run into anybody out there, so we've got out of the house a good deal, which is nice, just because we don't have a lot of population density.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of population. I'm really grateful for where I live, because we have a Dollar General down the road, like a mile and a half down from my house. We have a Food Line, which is a grocery store about a mile down there. Nobody goes to those two because they're on the outskirts of town. Everybody wants to go to the bigger ones in town, but that's where you find the toilet paper, y'all.
Yeah, there's like a Dollar General like every 2 miles in North Carolina.
Yeah.
There really is.
And this one is convenient because it's not in a populated area. So it's actually in a commercially kind of area. So with everything closed, nobody's going there except for me. And I don't tell nobody when they got toilet paper.
I love how Limmy's just back there playing with bubbles with her puppy.
It freaked me out for a second. I'm like, where's the bubbles coming from?
She's like, blowing bubbles.
I love
So,
bubbles.
what do you guys say we break into these? So we let the judges pick whatever mix they wanted to mix up, one from each of us, and they're not going to judge or declare a winner or anything, but just some friendly peer critiquing. And
wait, this was supposed to be friendly. I've completely missed the memo.
I'm out.
Everything's fine. Let's move on. I don't have anything else to say.
And, I guess you guys can. I don't know if you guys want to decide who goes first or whatever, or I don't know if you guys have any of you mix like the same mix.
It's got to be Rin because she's got family over.
Yeah, we don't want to keep her long.
Yeah, true. Let's Rin. That's right. Let's let Rin go first.
Okay.
So who wants to go first, Rick?
I'll go first. That's all cool. So I took advantage of the fact that there was actually a fairly simple looking fruit profile to mostly just make fruit mixes, because that's kind of my jam. So I did Rin's I Papi, which I feel like I don't put the right English on that pronunciation, but
Winston.
yeah, I Papi. There we go. So it had 0.5% vape train fizzy sherbet, 1% Flavora guanabana, 0.25% Flavora mango, 0.75% one-on-one marshmallow vanilla, and 0.25% Wonder Flavors papaya super concentrate. I just was a Philistine like I usually am and went ahead and doubled the recipe. And for this one, actually for all the fruit mixes, I just added 1% Flavor West sweetener in there because I like my fruit mixes on the sweeter side. So there's my caveats for it. I liked this one quite a bit. I mean, I'm kind of a fruit mix kind of guy when it comes down to it. I like tropical fruits, and I think everything here worked pretty well overall. I love Flavora Mango at 0.5%. I could probably end up going a little bit higher with it, but again, I really like Flavora Mango. I know that's not everybody's jam, so I think where it is in the recipe is probably a good thing. Guanabana, nice sort of tropical mystery, whatever. That's a little bit creamy, a little bit banana-ish. It works really well with the mango, and then just a couple of the brighter notes out of the papaya too. I think the mango Guanabana papaya base for the tropical fruit thing worked out really well. The sort of interesting part of the recipe for me though is going to be the marshmallow and the fizzy sherbet. I'm a big fan of sort of turning those big brighter fruit flavors into like more of like a candy flavor, and like that sort of like powdery like pixie stick kind of vibe you get from the fizzy sherbet, along with some of those like lemony limey notes and the sort of more sweet powdery sort of marshmallow vanilla thing from the one-on-one. Yeah, I liked it. I think it hit most of my bases for a tropical fruit mix. It's not too like overripe. I don't feel like it's a particularly overripe recipe. It has a little bit of brightness from the fizzy sherbet. The texture is nice and full and interesting from the fizzy sherbet and the marshmallow. So I don't really have all that much constructive to say about this. I just liked it.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We're gonna pick on Rin.
Yeah, go for it, Addy.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, I wanted to say, you know, a lot of us are lucky. We have a lot of flavorings, but mix with what you have out there. You know, it's not always about having the latest and greatest. It's about, you know, using what you have and finding recipes to do that. So I tried to get recipes from the Vixens like from the last 30 days. I didn't have the VT raspberry that Rin used, but she said I could sub in my favorite raspberry, and this is a zinger. And one great thing about the Vixens recipes is you can go to all the flavors and type in MIXINVIXENS, and everything is there from all the girls. So this is, you can see that recipe if you go over there, but it's desiccated coconut, shisha raspberry, VT, sweet cream VT, and jungle flavors yellow cake. I didn't have that raspberry, so I subbed in 0.1% Inawera, 0.2% FA, and 0.45 TFA sweet raspberry, because I always mix those three together, and that's my go-to strawberry or raspberry jam. But I really like this one a lot, and it's super authentic to what I remember a zinger being. And all I can say is good job, Rin, and I'm going to continue vaping the rest of this bottle. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Awesome.
That sweet cream is so freaking good.
Yeah. Is it the desiccated coconut I gave you?
Yes. Thank you.
That didn't get destroyed with the labels.
Yeah, right.
So I have a question. Where do you get that desiccated coconut? It's kind of hard to find, isn't it?
I got mine from Chefs.
Okay.
So yeah, it is a little bit tricky.
Yeah,
it goes so good with like coconut custard. It's great freaking coconut.
Yeah, it's a nice dried coconut. It's the only coconut I've found that is dry. Like it's definitely a flaked, dehydrated coconut.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So when everything is better in the world, you know, I'll get you some if you want.
Awesome.
I think Chef's is open though.
Yeah, I wouldn't really. I wouldn't. But do you?
Okay, is it my turn?
Yep.
Brienne, are you ready?
Yep. You're gonna hate it, right? Whatever it is, you're gonna hate it.
No. Actually,
Here comes the velvet hammer.
The velvet hammer. I like that. No, every recipe that I mixed up this week is great. Honestly, it is. A couple of them, when I first looked at them, is like, I don't know about this. And Rien's was one of them. It's Rien's funnel cake. All right. The first thing that I thought when I looked at this, I was like, really? Real Flavors baked bread? Because with that flavor, when I smell it, it reminds me of if you have like a half full water bottle that's been in your car in the hot sun for like 2 weeks, and then you open it up and you smell that plasticky water. That's what I get from it.
Nice.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So when
Dave says tastes like puppy smell.
That's what Dave said.
No, I think that's FA bread crust. He says is the puppy one.
Bread
Right?
crust.
Yeah.
It says it tastes like puppy smell.
Gross.
Yeah. So when I saw this recipe, I was like, okay, but I'm gonna give it a chance. And the fact that there's only 2.25% in this recipe. Ren, do you want to talk about it before I get into it?
Yeah, so as like the base of the actual funnel cake, I use the Real Flavors baked bread because it's a really nice like inner part of like a freshly baked bread. There's really not a lot of sweetness to it. I don't find it overly yeasty, but it's definitely like a moist bread. So I use that to kind of give it that texture as far as the funnel cake, because I like my funnel cakes and elephant ears like on the fluffier side. I don't like when they're like overly fried and like hard. So I wanted something to have that. So that's what I used there. 0.25 of deep fried pastry dough to give it again that note as a deep fried pastry. And then 0.25 of glazed donut to give it a little bit of a donut note, and also for the glaze note. I didn't go high with it because I didn't want it to be a donut, and I didn't want the glaze to be too, I didn't want it to stand out too much. And the glaze kind of adds in with the powdered sugar and the marshmallow vanilla by 1-on-1 to give it like because I went for a powdered sugar funnel cake, because that's what the person that submitted it wanted it. They didn't want the cinnamon sugar. So that's what I did. So it's kind of weird. And all of the pastries are low because I did originally go a bit higher with the deep fried pastry dough, and I got an off note from it. I don't know if it was like a spice that was in it that was giving it like a funkiness. So I just dropped it down and it got rid of that. So I don't know. It's kind of blandish, but I mean, a funnel cake isn't all that like flavorful really. It's just deep fried dough with powdered sugar on it. So
well, that's kind of what my thoughts on it was it's not very exciting. It's not very bold, but it is spot on funnel cake. I can taste it. It's awesome. It's a bready, doughy, slightly spiced. I mean, just very, very slightly spiced cinnamon covered in powdered sugar. I mean, it's probably the best funnel cake that I've tried. The only thing that I would do personally is probably up some of those percentages just to give it just a little bit more punch. But like you said, if you did that, then you might get a little too much cinnamon, a little too much of that off note that you were talking about in the Wonder Flavors deep fried pastry dough, which I get too. But it really blew me away. I don't get that off note from the baked bread that I do when I just smell it.
Yeah,
it works perfectly in this. So good job.
Thank you. Yeah, it's an underrated flavor. I was afraid of it because I hate joy, like Flavor Our Joy. It's disgusting. I don't like anything like yeasty. Like I seem to be sensitive to it, but I kept hearing good things about it, so I'm like, screw it, I'll get it. And it's a really nice baked bread. Like it's nice and fluffy. it's a good base for something. I don't know that you would ever vape it by itself, but it's a good thing to add to things.
Yeah, I've tried it when I first got that flavoring, like maybe 2 years ago. I tried it once and I never tried it again because I single flavor tested, which was a mistake. But in this recipe, it works. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. So good job on it.
Thank you.
Yep,
I would add fruit to it. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a base. This is just a funnel cake base that you would want to add something to it, but it's really good. Good job. And I can taste it at 2.5%. Amazing.
Does anybody know if that baked bread survived whatever real flavors changeover in production there was? Is that just
that? I don't know. And I was a little bit afraid of it, but honestly, I don't know of anything that would have done what it did.
They're still in transition, last I heard, and they don't know exactly what they're going to do, the most popular ones, but nobody really knows yet how deep they're going to go into it.
All right, because I've got 110 mil of baked bread, which I need for exactly one recipe, and like a 10 mil of it will literally be a lifetime supply. But
go to DIYEjuice.com. It's a Canadian company, but they still have a lot of RF flavors.
Yeah, that's right. I got my oatmeal cookie from them.
Yeah.
Is that not the company that bought out the rights to Real Flavors?
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's another company, isn't there, in the States that has some of them too?
I don't know.
But I don't know.
It's for something that never, from a project that never came together, and I've like been holding off on like thinking about releasing it just because like I don't like putting stuff out there with dead flavors.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. 10 milliliters though will last you literally your entire life. It's interesting shit.
I wonder if you can sub it for something else concrete.
No,
I don't think so.
That's the problem. Like I would have tried to come up with a sub already if I knew of one, but yeah, it is such a weird flavor and it acts in such a weird way. I haven't found anything that like works the same way as it.
Nope.
Now they had two versions of that baked bread, if I'm not mistaken, one PG and one VG, right?
Yeah, it was like PDO or whatever. They had the concentrate version of it. Yeah.
I think it was just a different base because they started with their VG line, then they went to the other line, and they did the other line. It's like four different lines.
I know
Shindo
really good, but you just have to like let them steep forever, and like they're very soft and mellow. I much prefer their PG ones.
Yeah, I remember how Ren struggled with the VG line and what a pain in the butt it was.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait a month and a half to know if I like something or not.
Yeah, well, I know Shindo had come up with some kind of a baked bread using the VG version of the Real Flavors baked bread. He said it was better, but I don't know.
We'll miss our Shindo.
Yeah, he's probably dead by now.
Well, he quit vaping, didn't he?
Yeah, theoretically.
He just didn't want to hang out with us anymore. So he's like, yeah, I quit.
I quit that. Losers.
Go back in my black hole.
He said vaping wasn't cool and he was going to go back to smoking actual cools. So who knows?
No, last we heard he's not vaping or smoking. He just quit everything, which is God bless him. Good for him. But we miss you.
All right. Who do you guys want to talk about next?
I'm gonna go.
Who's the next on the attack?
Aaron. Say hi to Jason.
Bye-bye.
For your family.
Have a good Easter.
You pick, Emily. Who you want to go next?
Let's do Lumi.
Okay. I'll start off. I did Lumi's fried dough, and that is a churro, classic Belgian waffle, egg roll, and powdered sugar. And Lumi, holy shit, I gotta tell you, this recipe is genius. I never thought that egg roll and classic Belgian waffle could create a fried dough, but it's like spot on. Amazing.
I may have missed the whole note of not doing the cinnamon sugar, but you could go ahead and fuck off whoever didn't want cinnamon sugar on their fried dough because it's going in there.
Well, you get the fried dough, and typically when you get it at the fair or whatever, there's shaker bottles there with powdered sugar and the cinnamon shake. So this is kind of like with the churro on there and the powdered sugar in the mix. It's like you just load it up with the cinnamon shake and then load it up with the powdered sugar, and I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. It's another one I'm gonna finish the bottle.
Jungle Flavors churro is really good. Like it's a very like authentic like fried dough flavor. You just have to want that cinnamon sugar with it. And I know I would try to order that classic Belgian waffle, but they're sold out right now at Bull City.
Yeah,
How much maple is it in it?
Yeah, give egg roll and that classic Belgian waffle try if you want to do a dough. It was fantastic. I had subbed in the cap churro, but because I didn't have the jungle flavors, but it's still really good.
I think that that Health Cabin egg roll is the perfect additive to any kind of a fried dough thing. It's got it's got a yeasty kind of thing going on. It's perfect. I don't use it as much as I should just because I know a lot of people don't have it.
I like how like it's just so like crispy, like it's a really good kind of a lightly greasy fried note. It's not as greasy as Cap
avocado
boy or something, but it does have like a nice greasy fried note that without any like yucky off notes to it.
For sure.
I still refuse to believe Health Cabin's a real company. So
I've tried to contact them, and I have had no success, zero. So
who sells it?
I don't know.
Health Cabin?
No, I contacted Health Cabin. They were like, "What are you talking about?" They sell like mods and things.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Flavors.
China.
Flavors? What? I don't know.
I've bought stuff from Health Cabin, clones and stuff like that. Parts for K funds and.
Fuck it, they made egg roll, so they're doing something right.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, but who resells it?
DIY Vapor Supply, I think.
Yeah, they do. That's where I got mine.
And if looking, I don't know anywhere in Canada to get it though. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Who's next?
Charging right along, I'll go ahead and do mine. So again, I was excited to do fruit recipes. Here's another one of the fruit recipes. It is in fact your Tropic Yum Yum, as it were.
I did that one too.
Okay, there we go. So just what's that look on your face for? Did we pick wrong?
I don't vape tropical stuff, so I was like, go at it though.
Okay, go at it. So just over the recipe, you got about 1%, 1.25% cap cantaloupe, 1.12% Flavora mango, 1.37% milk and honey, 2.98% cap passion fruit, 0.89% Flavora smoothie base, and 1.32% cap sweet mango. I had to mix an entire gallon of this to get the percentages dead on, but I am willing to go that extra mile for you, Luby.
Hope you'll like it.
Yeah.
And I did also add some sweetener to it because you said it was okay in the description. I added 1% of Flavor West sweetener to mine. This is an interesting tropical fruit mix. I think it leans into some things I wouldn't necessarily lean into with a tropical fruit mix. For me, I felt like it was really sort of dark and a little muddy for what I usually want my tropical fruit mixes to be. The cap sweet mango goes a little overripe for me, usually unless there's something pretty bright in the mix, and it kind of went a little overripe to me. And then the Flavora milk and honey is like that dulce de leche, kind of like deep sweetness to it, and it didn't necessarily gel with the kind of sweetness that you'd want from a tropical fruit, at least for me. I just feel like an asshole saying all this. She's just over here smiling. I'm like,
She gave you her disclosure in the beginning, so go for it.
I don't do tropical fruits. Like I have an allergy to most of them, so I don't know what to look for.
Yeah. I sort of like the idea of the recipe. I guess the where you usually get the brightness, like just thinking about these fruits, you usually get the brightness from the passion fruit. And passion fruit just kind of doesn't do brightness particularly well for me. It's sort of a passion fruit nectar kind of flavor, and it doesn't have the brightness of a real passion fruit. It's kind of flat and maybe a little bit green. And so that sort of plays a little bit more with the sweet mango with those overripe notes. I do like the smoothie base in here quite a bit. I think the smoothie base really sort of helps to pull together some of the disparate elements and makes the sort of mouthfeel a lot more pleasant. But it's kind of a darker take on a tropical fruit thing, which I wasn't necessarily expecting. It's not bad. It's just not usually what I'd go ahead and accentuate with like a tropical fruit, and like bring it in like Rin did with like the fizzy sherbet and that kind of brightness to it, or maybe use like a brighter passion fruit, because just sort of with the tropical fruit, what for me at least, what I'm looking for is like that sort of contrast between the bright and the sweet, and maybe something a little bit earthy down low to kind of like give you like a nice wide spectrum of a flavor in it. And I think you got like maybe the mix overall is just a little bit too basey for me, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
I'll take it.
Okay, you want to hear my comments?
Go for it.
So I'm really shocked that Concrete doesn't like this. I mean, it's fruity, it's dirty, and he doesn't like it. You like everything dirty.
Hey, see, I like dirty stuff, but I like dirty stuff as like kind of a counterpoint. And for me, like I need like with Flavora Pink Guava, right? It's a dirty flavor, but it also has like a really bright, high, sparkling note to it that kind of plays off. And like if you're gonna do the dirty, like I need the entire.
You gotta balance it out with some brightness, right?
Yeah.
Well, I actually kind of like this mix. I mean, when I saw the milk and honey in it, I was kind of like the Ren's recipe with the bread. It's like, really, milk and honey in a tropical. But I don't know what it's doing in there. I mean, it does make it a little darker. But for me personally, I don't mind it. I get a nice like melon, lime, mango kind of dark, creamy aspect to it. It does have a little bit of a floral note to it, very, very, very slight floral note, but in a kind of a tropical kind of way, which I don't mind a floral note if it's going in that direction, if it's a tropical mix. So for my taste buds, it was different, but it was enjoyable for me. And you took a big risk on this, putting that milk and honey in there, but I kind of like it. I'm surprised Concrete didn't.
I'll take it.
I'm not anti milk and honey. It's just, yeah, I would have liked a little bit of an anchor with some brightness, but this is the part where you get to seem like the good guy, folk art. So just fucking revel in that.
Yes.
I was pretty intimidated by this recipe because I haven't had any of the fruits that were in the picture. So I was like, oh God. And then when it came to flavors, I only had these ones. So I was like, well, let's go.
I remember the episode. It's like, what fruit is that? Which one is that? I don't know what that F that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that else that I could add to this is if I were making this exact recipe, I would probably pick a different passion fruit and a different. I probably wouldn't use the cap sweet mango.
I just went and bought the Indian special mango. I didn't have that before.
Yeah, but yeah, it was taking a big risk, but I kind of like it. I'll vape it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Indian mango, the Indian special mango, would go a long way to sort of cleaning up the recipe and give it some of the brightness for some of the contrast. So yeah,
it has a good passion fruit. I can add it to my to get list. Like, what do you see being
Wonder flavors?
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
That's a good passion fruit.
Or getting it rather. We're good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, Jen. You want to go or do you want me to go?
I'll go.
All right.
Let me pull up my recipes because I'm sure they're going to ask.
Okay, so since y'all two went first, the last two, I'll go first this time. If that's okay with y'all. So I did Jennifer's zinger.
Okay.
You want to talk about it before I rip into it?
Sure. Hold on. Let me find it in here. And Zinger by Jen. So I used a lot of flavors.
Not quite verified. Only 8 this time.
I used the cornbread mixed with vanilla cupcake for my cake base, right? I used a little bit of pastry zest at 0.15 for that lemon note that it has in it. I used black currant mixed with sweet raspberry for the outer layer of it. Flavora sweet coconut because it's it's candy, so it's like a confectionate coconut, but it's the only other sweet coconut like that is TFA's, and that's disgusting unless you use it with creams as a tiny little bit. Vanilla custard too, because it's my favorite for the center piece of it. And my mix for the berry was a sweet raspberry from TFA at 2%, and I used black currant to darken it a little bit, so it's not such a hard candy type raspberry, but it's still on the candy side.
Yeah. Okay, so the first words that I wrote down in my notes was, "Oh my God, this is heavenly." This is really good. This is a very tasty mix. The fluffy, it has like a fluffy white cake with a hint of like lemon zest in it, kind of encapsulated around a raspberry creamy kind of feeling for me. The cornbread and the yellow cake is just the perfect base for this type of cake, I think.
It was vanilla cupcake. It wasn't
yellow. Vanilla cupcake is what
I had to look. I was like, I know I didn't use yellow cake. I don't know use yellow cake.
Sorry. I'm trying to look at the recipe and my notes at the same time.
I don't like poison.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only yellow cake is Flavor West. So
sorry. Yeah. So and the TPA vanilla custard too, that's such a great flavor. A lot of people are comparing that flavor to FA's premium custard. Honestly, I don't think it's a very good comparison. I think it's more like Capella vanilla custard, but with less eggy notes in it. It's a little brighter.
I think it's more like FA custard premium with a little bit of TFA vanilla swirl.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I think the vanilla note in both custard premium and TFA, like vanilla custard, I think they're really like pretty close to each other.
And since it's got less egg in it, that's where it comes closer to custard premium, but it has a little extra vanilla in it, more of like Cap's vanilla swirl. So everybody's a little different. We all taste things differently.
Sure.
So we won't argue with you too much there.
Sure. But the adding of the vanilla custard too, I think gives it like more mouthfeel. It makes it like a little denser, which is really nice. The combination of the FA black currant with the TPA raspberry sweet, which that's not one of my favorite raspberries, but with the black currant, it makes for a really nice raspberry kind of a jammy kind of thing. It works perfectly in this. The sweet coconut, I don't really get any sweet coconut in this, but that doesn't bother me at all.
Well, I only put a tiny bit in it, and that was for separation purposes.
Exactly.
And to give you a little bit of the coconut in it. I didn't want it. Coconut can take over, and really, when you eat a zinger, you don't actually taste the coconut. You kind of feel it, and it's there, but you really taste the raspberry and the cake part.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wrote in my notes, is that I feel like that's there just to get maybe a little bit of separation between the two things, just to add just a hint of something else in there to make some separation. Um, the only thing that the only negative thing I could say about this is that just by looking at the photograph of the Zinger, I don't think it's that accurate to what I'm looking at, because to me this is like a white cake or a yellow cake with raspberry filling on the inside of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I was so trying so hard for that not to happen. For it to be because I kept getting a raspberry cake with some frosting on it. So I kept moving it around trying to get the raspberry to separate from the cake. But I guess you got the raspberry in the center and not on the outside.
Yeah, but that doesn't bother me at all because it's heavenly. It's beautiful. That's the only thing that I could say that I don't think it's particularly accurate to that photo, but who gives a shit? It's good. It's really good. So yeah, good job on that. Well, I think that's all I have to say about it.
I also did JW's Zinger,
okay.
And I put some notes down here. I learned a lot from this recipe. It was your combination of black currant with the TFA sweet raspberry and that little bit of pastry zest. To me, made a really nice bilberry, like a tart, dark berry, and I really like that a lot. The vanilla cupcake, along with the new TPA vanilla custard too, made a really nice cream, like a cream filling, or you could even use it for a frosting. I like that a lot. Yeah, so that really, it's always good when you can learn something from mixing a recipe, And like folks said, I didn't get any coconut, and the cake kind of got buried, but I thought it was a beautiful bilberry custard cream. I like it a lot. I'm going to finish that bottle as well.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Okay, well, I did not do that recipe. I did your fairy funnel cake.
I'm super surprised you didn't do my fruity blend.
I didn't see it on all the flavors, and honestly, the milk and honey was already out, so it was like, fuck it.
Got it.
So yeah, only 9 ingredients, so we're still under 10. We're golden. I don't know. Honestly, at this point, like these sort of like intricate like bakery recipes and stuff, like I just sort of intrinsically trust you on them for the most part, because like everything I've tried from you that's like more of like an intricate like bakery kind of thing is pretty spot the fuck on. And honestly, I don't have a whole lot to criticize here. You say it's a sourdough soft center funnel cake. I don't necessarily get the sourdough thing. Was that supposed to come from any flavor in particular?
The joy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at 0.1%, I actually had a dilution bottle of Joy sitting around, so that was handy because I probably would have just half-assed it if I didn't. Just being honest there.
It's probably the only level that Joy's okay at.
I taste Joy strongly, so that's where I get the sourdough part of it.
I got a little bit of a yeast thing, and I'm not sure. Are funnel cakes usually yeast risen?
No, they're more. You can make them. No, they're like a pancake mix.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just like a quick bread thing that's deep fried. Like they're usually soda risen. Okay. I didn't pick up like a whole bunch of really yeasty notes or anything. Like it added more, I think, to like a warmth and sort of breadiness underlying the funnel cake. I love the way that you handle like lightly frosted things with the FA meringue, and I'm assuming some of the FA almond does some of that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The FA almond was supposed to separate the meringue from the funnel cake. So the almond was supposed to add that note to the funnel cake part that darkened it a little bit.
It tastes good to me. Like that meringue thing really does what the meringue needs to do, I think, in the recipe, which is kind of give it like that sugary topping. And however you set that up, it ended up working out really nice. there's like a depth to the funnel cake that gives it like a little bit of like a greasiness, but not like an obnoxious greasiness. It's just like, okay, this may have been fried at some point. Like I like that level of dirt.
That comes from the cake batter.
Yeah.
That can be disgusting if you bring that up too high, or if you don't mix it in well with other things. You know, cake batter is funky unless you mix it right, you know?
Yeah, and it's done almost perfectly here. And yeah, it's a really, really nice funnel cake base. And I don't know enough about bakeries to get particularly technical with any of the critique. Everything you threw at this works really nice for like a powdered sugar funnel cake.
And I don't do bakeries well, so the fact that you and Addie did a bakery of mine was scary.
Well, I apparently do bakeries much less well than you do, so I was impressed.
I mean, I have to work hard at my bakeries, you know what I mean? And all three of you so far have made a bakery of mine. I'm like, oh God. Didn't anybody pick my fruit? That's my cup of tea. I have to work hard at the bakeries.
I made that one.
That's why they're so good, because you have to work hard at them.
I have to work really hard at them.
Well, I made that because it's what I had to make it. I didn't have the stuff to make your other ones.
It's okay. I'll forgive all of you since nobody threw me under that bus and ran me over a few times.
Well, I mean, honestly, it goes back to, I think, one of the earlier recipes where we did that like Portuguese egg tart recipe of yours. And I was like completely ready to just be like, oh, fuck this shit. And it was like, no, like the way that you structure your bakeries really, really jives with the way that I like to sort of perceive those bakeries. So, critique, I guess it seems like it's one of those recipes that's a really nice base. It might be going far enough for some people, but honestly, like I would maybe want a big dumb fruit flavor over the top of it.
Yeah, strawberry on top of it or blueberry on. I think that's in my notes, isn't it?
Sourdough soft center, deep, rich, slightly burned sugar notes and a sugary sweet exhale. I'm just looking on the ATF thing.
No, I didn't put it in there, but it goes really well with a sweet strawberry or a blueberry.
Yeah, this seems like the kind of thing that, like, if you wanted to mix it up sort of as a one shot and then mix it as a single flavoring in a recipe of like 5 or 10%, and then throw like a fucking fruit on top of it, I think that would probably be the final form for this, for me at least. I think the other thing that I was kind of surprised not to see was maybe a little bit of marzipan in there, just because I know you've used that marzipan and meringue really well together.
And I usually use marzipan, and I debated between marzipan and almond, and I did not want the cherry for marzipan, so I picked almond instead.
Okay. So there you go. You're like 3 steps ahead of me on all this shit. So great job. Thank you.
It's thought out. The recipe is thought out because I don't vape bakeries very easily. They have to be a certain way for me to enjoy them. Otherwise they're dry and they taste like cardboard to me, and I have difficulties vaping bakeries. So I have to think through what I'm going to put in it so it's not so dry and cardboardy to me, because it doesn't matter. Once I put a cake in something, if it's overdone, it's a cardboard.
Yeah. I liked it too, because like it's one of those things that a lot of bakeries, like I can vape about 3 good solid hits on it and I'm like, okay, like I'm completely over it and I can't taste it. This actually stuck around with me fairly well for being a recipe that isn't like obnoxiously over the top. It's just a really well crafted.
Did you add sweetener to it?
I did not add sweetener to this one, no.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
Very cool.
Okay, Emily, it's time to throw you under the bus, right?
It's my turn.
I mean, I'll start. So I did your papaya lime love, because I like papaya, lime, and love. So yeah. And so you got 2% of the FA Mango Indian Special, 2% of TPA papaya, 1% of the Vape Train Shisha Lime, 0.5% of Super Sweet was what was in the recipe, but I mixed it with 1% Flavor West instead. 2.5% Cap Sweet Mango and 1.5% Vape Train Yellow Passion. So I liked this one. It spoke to me. It was big. It was bright. It was very tropical. I feel like the shisha lime in this recipe is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for why I like this recipe. Because Yellow Passion at 1.5% isn't like overwhelmingly funky, but it gets maybe a little perfumey, a little musky. And then the sweet mango can easily go to that sort of like dark overripe mango place. And it's sort of amazing how just a little bit of lime sails in there and really picks it up. Even with that 2% TPA papaya, it's another sort of stronger flavor that can get a little funky.
Yeah, it calms it all down. Like you're like, all right, guys, chill out for a sec. Let's not be too crazy funky.
Okay. Let me talk here. We're gonna talk you off the ledge. We don't want you to taste too musky and overripe. Just throw a little bit of lime.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I love tropical fruit. Set off with lime. The lime does a great job of sort of controlling everything. The mango Indian special helps out that cap sweet mango quite a bit too. Yeah, I don't have all that much to critique. I like the fact that you put super sweet on the bill here because honestly, I feel like this is one of those recipes that really does benefit from sweetener, even if you're not a sweetener person.
Yeah, normally I leave sweetener as like an off the recipe and it's just like an optional, like if you want it, you can use it. But I felt with this recipe, like it needed some extra sweetness.
Yeah, and it helps again with those sort of funkier flavors. The sweetener and the acidity from the lime really does help sort of lift up those darker, funkier tropical flavors into something a lot more sort of satisfying to vape overall.
Awesome. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. Yep, I dug it.
Well, I'll go next. I want to thank JW for sending me some flavoring so I can mix something at Emily's because I don't have a ton of flavorings, and it was kind of a crapshoot. And she sent me stuff to make Emily's maple butter cake, and all I can say is, oh my god, I love this recipe. I never tried FA maple before, and it's wonderful. And as old as Flavor West white cake is, I've always just had their yellow cake. I never tried their white cake, and it's wonderful. So yeah, that the VT butter base is like the perfect frosting cream, and it's just wonderful. And you guys know how much I love 101 cornbread. It's just a perfect recipe. I love it a lot. Good job, Emily. 4 flavors. That's all. It's perfect for this. It's well balanced. You get everything: the frosting, the cake, the maple. I love it.
I'm glad you liked it.
Let's see if folk art throws you under that bus.
Come on, the Velvet Hammer.
You want me to be mean? No, I can't be mean to Emily.
Just rip her apart with those sweet honeyed words.
Okay, so I mixed up Emily's Reese's Sundae.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, can't pass up a chocolate. So you want to talk about that before I rip into it?
Sure. So this one I did for the peanut butter part. I used the TFA DX peanut butter and the combo of that with a little bit of Flavor sweet coconut. And then for the ice cream, I used the Vape Train Toffee ice cream because it's a little bit of a darker, kind of sweeter ice cream with a little bit of the FA vanilla ice cream because I just like the vanilla note Flavor Arts ice cream. And then I tried to throw in like the hard shell of the Reese's by using Wonder Flavor's chocolate chunks. I think it's more of like a kind of a harder shell candy type chocolate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would have to agree with that. So this profile takes 2 of the hardest things to make in vaping: chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other one is cherry, I think. And to do it right, it's tough. It really is. So I commend you for going after this. I know you had to go by the photo, but still yet, it's a tough profile to go after. Mm-hmm. I think that that this is pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's good. The chocolate chunks is in my top 3, top 2 actually, of any, if you want a chocolate that feels like a hard chocolate, that's probably the one that you want to go with. Because it does bring that, well, that the hard chocolate note. But it also, for me personally, it has a slight off note. It's got a little bit of a plastic note in there, which is very common in chocolates, very common. So the trick is to cover that up somehow. And I think you do a pretty good job of that, especially using the Vape Train toffee ice cream. It has just a little bit of like a caramel kind of thing. And that always helps chocolates, I think. Let me read through my notes here.
I learned that from you, Folkart, that if you're using chocolates in a vape, you need to add some kind of caramel or like a brown sugar to go with that chocolate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's if you're, there's the way I try to build my chocolates is either I use like a coconut if I'm going for like a milk chocolate kind of flavor, or a caramel if I'm going for like a deeper kind of silky kind of chocolate. But it does work most of the time. The peanut butter note, TPA DX peanut butter, is the only way to go when it comes to peanut butter, in my opinion. I think it's the best one out there. TFA regular peanut butter is good, but it lasted like 2 minutes and it's gone.
Yeah.
Right. So the DX peanut butter is maybe not quite as good as the original TPA peanut butter, but at least it stays around. And so that's a perfect choice in this. The sweet coconut, I'm shocked that you used coconut in this, Emily.
Right?
You hate coconut, right?
When she turned it in, I said that. I was like, you use coconut?
Yeah.
It's the only coconut I'll use, and I will never go over 0.5%.
Yeah, but that's a perfect addition to any kind of chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
It adds a little something to it, because if you look at the ingredients in most chocolates, if you look at the ingredients, it says coconut oil, and that sense of tasting that little bit of coconut in there makes your mind think, hey, this is a chocolate.
It's that rich sweetness that all the chocolate flavors are lacking,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a great choice in that. Let's see. The toffee ice cream. So a question I had for you, this was supposed to be a sundae, like a ice cream with Reese's cups with Reese cup on top of it, or
yeah, I like the picture, just like pieces of Reese, or like a flurry, or just
right. Okay, well, I don't get a lot of ice cream, but I do get a creaminess in there, which is really nice. But overall, it's a really nice mix. The Wonder Flavors chocolate, like I say, chocolate chunks, has a slight plastic note, which is hard to get around in all chocolates, but it's a really good mix. The only suggestion that I would have, as far as the chocolate, would be maybe I would have used Glamour chocolate instead of the chocolate chunks, not because of the hardness of the chocolate that the Wonderful Flavors brings, but because Glamour chocolate has a little bit of a penis in it,
mm-hmm.
which I think would add to the peanut butter.
Glamour chocolate was one of I did like 3 or 4 versions of this,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of the versions that was like, it was either between that or chocolate chunks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just chose to go with the chocolate chunks because it was a little bit more of like that harder shell.
Right.
Where Glamour chocolate mixed in a little bit too much with everything else and didn't have like. So that's but it was really close, and it's really good with Glamour chocolate.
Yeah, and that's the problem with Glamour chocolate too, is it doesn't feel like that hard chocolate shell.
Yeah.
So
it just mixed in with the ice cream.
You just kind of have to pick one or the other,
Yeah.
Which way you want to go.
Are we all going to ignore the fact that Folkart just said there was a penis in there?
Yes. I was hoping somebody would catch that.
Chocolate penis for Easter, I mean, with your
everybody
he's waiting to break in and say that.
Yeah, no, I sit there and I just fucking hit the unmute, and I'm just sitting here like, oh God, he said penis.
We're here just completely spaced out thinking about food right now, and I missed it. That's bad. I'm gonna have to watch the replay now.
But yeah, and the only other thing is I would have probably added a little bit of sweetener to it. But other than that, it's great job on it. I think
Thank
it's
you.
about as close as you can come to a Reese cup, because a Reese cup is hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough one. And I'm
Yeah.
the one who picked the picture, and I should have known that that's a horrible profile to go after.
Well,
Yeah,
but-
and it had two of the flavors I do not like to work with. That was chocolate and peanut butter. I was
They're
horrified.
hard. It's hard
Yeah.
to work with chocolate
yeah,
and
it
peanut
is.
butter.
It is. But I'll definitely finish it. Good job.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, there you
Chris
have
said
it, guys.
Well, I just want to say one thing to the Mixin Vixens, and that is thanks for the show and thanks for sharing so much knowledge. And we really appreciate it out there, and we love you guys.
Thank you. We love you too, Addie. We don't know what we'd do without you cheering us on in the chat.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Addie. We do love you. And thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been fun.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We'll have to have you back sometime.
Okay.
Guys, if you like our show and you like what we do and you like to support us in a fun, tasty way, head on over to flavorjungle.com. Used to be E-cig Express, where we have our one-shot line. Right now, Jen's is still sold out.
And I don't know if it's coming back at all. I don't know if they're getting done with them. And they haven't responded to me, but I do need to call them for sure, because after you get done shilling, I've got to shill something real quick.
So we don't know. It's kind of up in the air. We don't know when or if they'll be back in stock. So get your one shots now. Hurry, go get it before they're all out. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, I do want to say something while I have you guys here. If you guys know any smokers, on Tuesday night, the Smoker Show with Phil Busardo and Dimitri is going to have me and Wayne on it on Tuesday night. So bring a smoker on. We're going to talk DIY, because there's a lot of people in the community that currently are in isolation. Their states aren't allowing vape shops to be open. We still have DIY supplies that can get shipped to them. And they want to have a special to try to help people that can't get their vaping stuff any other way. So Tuesday night, let me look again what time it is.
9, I think it's on at 9.
It is at 9 o'clock at night. Wayne and I will be there. We'll be talking about some simple recipes. It is a smoker show. It's mostly for newbies. So, if you guys are going to be there, that's fine, but nothing is going to be too intricate, because it's mostly to bring people that just started to vape and stuff like that, but we're going to talk simplicity to them. But try to bring somebody along that is, a smoker that you might want to convince just to watch, just to listen to what they have to say. And Wayne and I will be putting our 2 cents in.
And that's on Phil Busardo's channel.
Yes.
Nice.
I think they'll be streaming it on Facebook and on YouTube and on tasteyourjuice.com. So I think it goes in 3 places at the same time.
And the link's out in the chat.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Oh, and Pippa brought up a good thing. She asked if Mill Nikon merch was still available via So Lumi, Rin, and myself at Vaping Swag, we have t-shirts and things. So, and all the proceeds go to CASA. So if you want to donate in a cool way and rock this faux hawk,
Heck yeah.
yes, head on over there. All right, guys, thank you so much. Judges, thanks for coming on and giving us your honest feedback on our recipes. It always makes it nice to have someone mix up, your mix and tell us what you think of it, even though it may not all be savory. We still appreciate it anyway. Everybody have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Did we show Bull City and Wayne for having us on the channel? Bull City's still open. They're still delivering. They're still have plenty of stock. They are running short on some things because suppliers aren't sending stuff to them. But last time I was there, and it wasn't that long ago, they have a full stock. I mean, they have a huge warehouse and things were already in place. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're set pretty good.
They're having a sale today, 15% off.
They did have a sale today.
Yeah, Bunny Hop or something, right?
Yeah.
So get your stuff, get your Easter egg basket filled up and shop there. And thank you, Wayne, for playing us on your podcast. And
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody. Lots of love.
Bye.
Yeah, guys.